because you start believing in your own pride, believing in this magnified ego that you have, okay? And you create enemies out of it. You create people that want you to fall, and you can't see the truth anymore. It's so much easier just to be humble. And then there's so much stuff you can let go. You can just be like, that guy's better than me at this thing. That guy's in better shape. That guy's better looking. And just be good with that. Because you're not letting your sense of significance strangle you. You're not living purely in your self-image. You have multiple levels of self-esteem. You have multiple ways to feel happy, to feel good about yourself. You recognize a reality that doesn't matter how well you're doing, someone's always doing better. So you're not trying desperately to uphold that huge sense of self, which usually comes from insecurity, by the way. When you're not secure with yourself, you compensate by trying to create this giant sandcastle of pride. I mean, celebrities are perfect examples. A lot of the times people pursue that fame so religiously is because they felt insignificant. They didn't feel a sense of self-worth. And they might be happy for maybe a year or something when they become famous, but as they adapt to it, they need more and more validation to be able to feed that demon, that monster of pride that they built. Which is why sometimes you'll hear about these insane stories of people who are so out of touch with reality. That's their pride talking, right? When you're humble, you can just be nice to people. You can be relatable. You can be cool. You know, you sit down at a table with some new people. You're not having to try and prove yourself. You're not trying to impose your will on people out of, a feeling of insignificance. But you're also high value, so people want to be around you. If you're high value and humble, people want to be around you. You're like the popular guy in school who's nice to people, right? Makes it so much easier when there's so many, when you're not living in your pride, there's just so many things you don't have to worry about. And it just prevents so many negative consequences in your life. Like, it's like 0.5% of people in the US are in prisons or have been in prisons, right? Almost all of those is a result of pride. Fighting somebody, going out, stunting on somebody. It's a result of pride. How many men have been killed over pride in human history? Probably a billion. Okay, when you can be humble, it's so much easier to control your emotions. It's easier to walk away from negative situations. It's easier to accept your faults, right? By far, the biggest source of growth is mistakes and being honest with yourself, recognizing when you've made mistakes, whether it's in business or in life, and looking at that with true honesty, which is hard for a lot of people because their ego gets in their way, their pride gets in their way, being like, I fucked up, I'm going to change, I'm going to elevate, I'm going to move past that situation. You can't do that when you're proud, okay? You can only do that when you're humble. When you're humble, people are going to see you as a real guy. They're going to want to be around you. They're going to like your company because you're able to listen to them and not just wait for your chance to talk, okay? Pride hurts you in so many ways. That's why it's, of the 7 deadly sins, is number 1. Being proud, being boastful, right? You can go back through your life every time. There's a price to pay for it, right? I can feel it. I can feel if I'm getting too proud. I need to regulate that. I need to regulate that because otherwise that'll allow me to dictate my actions. And I'm bragging and I'm boastful and I can see all the micro repercussions if I'm speaking to someone in that manner. Or I can see, hey, I'm losing touch with reality here. I'm living in this sandcastle. I'm living in this cloud, right? Or I'm allowing myself to slack off because I'm living in pride. So many different variables, so many different ways that's going to hurt you. It's just so much easier to be humble. Be humble, be nice to people, be high value, be confident, be, feel good about yourself, feel self-image.